Come here, Pearl. Hey everyone, good evening. This is definitely last minute, but in more ways than one. I think it's important that I go live tonight just to put this out into the atmosphere um, about what I've been covering for the last week. But in actuality, it's something that's been far more personal to me since 2023. I had to think about the date. I guess I didn't introduce myself. I'm just kind of going all over the place. So if you're watching, I assume you know me, but if you don't, my name is Lacey Jane, and I have a YouTube channel that is relatively new, and it is Criminally Confident is the name of it. And in the last week, I began covering a trial that is important to me because of the the impact that it's going to have, not just locally, not just, throughout the state, but nationally. And I happened to have been across the street when this happened. I saw the response. I saw the absolute mayhem that came after this. None of it was good. And I know that if you're coming here from X, you probably saw my tweet, and it's pretty like in your face. I'm here to tell you guys why Connor shouldn't be on trial for murder, even though he shot a pregnant woman and she died along with the fetus. That's kind of a bold statement, and it's something I unequivocally 100% believe in. And I would like the opportunity to share that with you, especially after what I've continued to learn throughout this trial. I have had 4 people reach out to me asking to remain anonymous. So it's been a little bit difficult to corroborate stories that I feel comfortable enough sharing, but I have information that I am able to share with you guys tonight. So if you haven't been watching, it's not a problem. I'm gonna make this very easy, and I'm even going to show the body cam footage. Like, you guys can watch it for yourself and decide. All I would ask is that you please help my algorithm by liking the video. And if you feel like it resonates with you, if you could share it, that would be really great, because I really genuinely, I feel very much like this is a very important issue going on right now. And it's kind of shocking that it hasn't gotten the attention that I think they had wanted it to get. And by they, I mean the state of Ohio. All right. So I think I'm just going to start with the video. Let's do that. And it is graphic. So there's no other way to say it. And I can't put up a thing that says like graphic. It's graphic. So it does say on here that it went through CapCut, I can tell you guys it went through CapCut to cover up the wound. I have seen the video. This is the video.
A 21-year-old pregnant woman was shot to death by police officer.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
273.
Okay.
I think 29, 3705 Managua, 3705. A female is hallucinating, questionable after attend.
Out of the car. Out of the car. Out of the car.
Medic 7 in service.
Out of the car.
Medic 7 back in service, 1828.
Get out of the car. Then get out. Go. Get out. Get out of the car. 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 Shots fired. Shots fired. Stop the goddamn car. Stop the goddamn car.
We're going to have a 34 on 73, customer out, she's going to be out. 5991 Seminary Road.
There you go. You got medics. 292, we get medics en route. You get a chest seal so you can
I
get
copy
one.
medics en route. Main will be 99. One Sunbury Road, they had an officer come on, said shots fired or asking for assistance. 292, what's your traffic?
Shots fired, we need medic.
We had shots fired on Clover 5991 Sunbury Road.
If we're on our way up there, we'll be monitored.
Hi, copy. Do you have any descriptions?
Slider, she came out to this young lady's full front row with the rope. We tried to stop it. So, get their information. Are you good? It's not mine. Huh? It's not mine. Okay. Tell them CPR is in progress for me. 292 CPR in progress.
Hi, copy. CPR in progress.
I'm gonna grab mine. Okay. Just leave it on the ground.
Looks like we got one down. Can I have you here for a minute?
Thanks.
One down, hold air. 292 advising medics with your location. You are outside the next one of entrance.
RX, walk up.
56, we're in front of the pharmacy walk-up between Dollar Tree and Kroger.
I copy.
Hey.
Copy.
Come on in.
Copy.
Okay. So there is nothing comfortable about watching that. I think the most important thing to do once you are finished with this live is to go back and to watch it in slow motion, especially the beginning. Now, this video does not show the officer who was talking to this woman. It does not show their interactions. It does not show that a manager ran out of the Kroger's and explained to a cop. There happened to be 2 police officers there. One was there for a hit skip that happened in the parking lot. You guys can't see my mouse right here, but like this way. And the video that you just saw also doesn't show the footage of an officer almost getting run over. It wasn't until it was after 8 to 10 times of the contact officer, the one that was saying, "Get out of your car, get out of your car, get out of your car." It wasn't until he had said that 8 to 10 times that the cover officer, which is the officer whose body cam we just witnessed, came up and noticed that this woman was in a handicap spot, no handicap placard. She had no license plate. There was a woman on the other side of the car that you probably don't see, maybe if you go back and watch it in slow motion, who is saying what happened in the store, that she had stole an excessive amount of alcohol. In the bag that she had on her, if you recall when she was taken out of her car, that's actually the bag where they found the alcohol. And the alcohol still had these sensors on it and everything. That's not why she got shot. I will mention, I think it is important to mention, however, that was the second time that day she had been shoplifting alcohol from a local Kroger's, not the one that I was across the street from, but the one on the other side of town. And by town, I mean 5 minutes away. And I appreciate you sharing it. Thank you, Judge. The officers had heard that someone had been robbing the liquor store at the other Kroger's earlier that day. And so I'm sure they, in their mind, they quickly came like, oh gosh, this might be our person. She was with 2 other people. I don't know if it's necessary for me to mention who those people are. I think her family has gone through enough, to be entirely honest. And regardless, I am very much supportive of the law enforcement officers in this situation. But that doesn't mean that I don't have empathy. That doesn't mean that I think we should be awful, just not have the foresight to consider other people's emotions of what they're going through. So the officer who was at the window telling her to get out, he continued to say it. She said she would not get out. Once the officer who made the shot got in front of the car, she decided to turn on her vehicle. And that is when this officer removes his gun from his belt. And that's a tactic used to get people to try to like pay attention. Like, obviously, the getting out of the car statements, lawful commands, wasn't working. And so we are now escalating to use of force. And a taser is not going to work. It's not going to go through a windshield. Hey, girl, thanks so much for stopping by. I'm glad you got a membership. So we have moved to him getting out the weapon because she has turned on the vehicle. And it's all happening so quickly, so very quickly, that she begins to turn her wheel. She puts her car in drive. And that is when you see in slow motion the gradual, like, pancaking motion. His shins begin to almost go under the car. We have seen, I don't even want to say that. This officer was afraid for his life, and rightfully so. And to think that this was all over stolen booze. He makes the shot like he's trained to do. He is a former Marine who was honorably discharged. He makes the shot into center mass. We later find out through the autopsy that it went straight through her heart. It was a fatal wound, despite their immediate life-saving measures. So she has her car in drive, remember? So her foot's on the gas, and she drives it into the Kroger's, like into the actual building. And they're trying to remove her. And she is, you can hear agonal breathing. And once you know what that sound is, it's like a death rattle. It's no good. They try to get her out, and with her foot still being on the gas, they somehow pull her, and the car goes forward another couple feet and then comes to a landing where they can open the door without this getting in the way. Hopefully you guys can see where my cursor is right now, which was the problem before. Once they get her out of the car, it becomes evident that this woman is pregnant. And that is the biggest, most devastating factor in all of this. Obviously, with the gunshot to the heart supplies blood to the rest of the body. It was a lethal situation for both she and her fetus. Sorry, guys. I need to take a drink. They put on the chest shield. And as you saw in that video, how long was that video? 4 minutes and 49 seconds. And I would say the first 40 seconds are don't count. I think that's a fair assessment in terms of calling for backup. So the officers, once she puts her car in drive and starts to move it, and Officer Connor Grubb is in front of the vehicle, because remember, he can't be on the other side. There is a Kroger employee there. There is also a chance that he would be caught in crossfire. That's what you're taught. You are taught to be able to be in a position to cover the officer who is making the contact. And that's what he was doing. And he was seeing that she was not complying and got out his gun. Shot goes out. And it's like this crazy series of events that follows. All of it is right. Immediate medical attention, applying a chest seal, calling for backup. And you see that backup come like instantly. There are several vehicles. My city responds. I believe my city had a total of 4 people testify this last week. You have several people in that parking lot. If you are doing a situational awareness, which once you look at the videos from Kroger's rather, you will see there are children pushing shopping carts. There are older people. It's right next to the Dollar Tree, which is right next to the Jersey Mike's where I had food from today. It is a very, very, very populated and busy area. And this was Thursday night in summer, end of summer, after work. The other 2 people that she was shoplifting with, they left the scene. Hold on. I didn't want to cough on screen. And trying to make sure I don't forget anything before I move forward. Yeah. So the other officers from this township begin responding. Other officers from the larger city next door begin responding, so on and so forth. And they are there to provide officer support. So basically, if there's a situation regarding an officer, if he has been in a critical incident, officer support comes and they do things like make sure that he is evaluated, that he has not had any injuries, that he doesn't leave the scene so he can make a statement. Just stuff that happens. Like it's what happens after you fire your weapon. It's something most officers can go their entire career without doing. Unfortunately for him, that day was the day that changed his life forever. Also unfortunate for him, which is jumping ahead a little bit. He, in my honest to God opinion, has become a scapegoat for a very well-known, very intense, heated, vitriol-infused relationship between the Columbus FOP and the politicians at City Hall. Unfortunately, we have leadership that has made his stances with policing very clear, and a group that so proudly used to stand next to the Democratic mayors of Columbus they want nothing to do with him. There are major shortages. There are problems being able to receive adequate training. Thankfully, in this situation, we don't have to worry about this because this was a township. So it wasn't the city of Columbus, but it was the city of Columbus that decided, since it was Franklin County, that is who ultimately would decide to press charges. And to put this into perspective, we have 4 police officers who have either recently or are about to go to trial for actions that they took on the job. 4 local police officers that are about to go to trial. Connor, what you just saw, that video, that officer, he has been charged with 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of, if I get this wrong, I'm sorry, I didn't pull this up and I'm drawing a blank. Reckless homicide and 2 counts of assault. Felonious assault. The one I'm not sure about is the reckless homicide. I believe that is correct. And I'm not going to pull it up right now. He was doing what he was taught to do, to the point that in the video, a Franklin County sheriff car gets him loaded and takes him to the Blendon Township Police Department, gets him away from the scene. There is nothing for him to do at that point. There is plenty of people responding. The sooner that Connor can make a statement and go through everything that comes with the worst day of your life, at least professionally speaking. I think it's probably professional and personal. They got him in the car so that they could begin this process. So an ambulance is diverted from, that's meant for him, because there were 2 called, one for her, one for the officer. The ambulance is diverted to go to the police department. They find him there, and I had to get out my notes because I was so surprised by this. And apparently I wasn't on the right page. The EMS provider who treated Officer Grubb at the scene noted that he was in shock and a high stress state. He had a blood pressure of 133/193. He was sweating profusely, shaking, and had flushed skin. He refused to transfer to the hospital. However, if you have been watching the trial with me, you will see that he had injuries to his legs. He had injuries to his hands. Yes, he got on the ground and was helping provide aid right after it happened. But you will also see in that video that he and the other officer, it's Officer Moynihan and Officer Grubb. Grubb is the one who shot. They collide into each other. And you'll also hear on the body cam, Officer Grubb say to Officer Moynihan, "I had to shoot. She was going to run me over." And he says, "I know, man. I know." There was no doubt this officer was about to be the only thing between some Lexus made tires in the Kroger's parking lot. It's the ugly truth of the situation. The shot, as an officer, you are taught to neutralize the threat. Once the threat has stopped, you immediately begin rendering aid. All of these things were done. Connor, after being evaluated and ticking off the EMS personnel by not going to the hospital, he decides to give a voluntary statement on what happened. There is nothing in that statement that is disputable. There is nothing in that statement that you aren't able to see on the body cam footage or the Kroger footage or the other officers' footage. We are watching a police officer on trial for his life for doing his job. If this officer goes to jail for murder, I bet you, I don't care where you live, you're going to hear about this, and so are your police officers. You want to live in a safe community? Your cops need to be able to do their jobs without fear of prosecution. And that is exactly what's happening here. And so I want to come here tonight and share my experience, share that I know the implications that this has policy-wise. This will be noticed and felt throughout the United States. For what was once such a supportive city of its police officers, we have seen a growing decline in such behaviors. And quite frankly, quite a broad disrespect for the work that they do by those in power. Thanks, Phil, for your support and for featuring it in your montage. These men and women deserve nothing but the absolute respect for doing the thankless job in America at this time. Isn't that the truth? These are the people that show up to save your life after you've been in a car accident. These are the people that show up on the worst days of your life. These officers had probable cause, and they had every intention of making an arrest or writing a ticket. This wasn't a situation, in any case, I can assure you, as was said on the stand, this is not a case where they could have, A of all, just let the car go because it didn't have license plates on it. What would have happened if she would have left that parking lot and hit a van full of kids on their way home from school? Even more lives would have been lost. It's not like he could have looked at the Kroger's lady and been like, oh, okay, she doesn't want to get out of her car. So we're just going to write this one off. Here's a check for $500 to cover the fees or the cost of the liquor that was stolen. Unfortunately, she was a part of a program for people who have been caught shoplifting in our city. Unfortunately, she thought she had the option of obeying lawful commands. I don't know when this became a thing. I would love to know if this is a thing where you live, because it most certainly is not where we live. And I think it was a very scary situation. There had been an arrest warrant that was sent out earlier that week. And so she probably knew that if she was going to get out of the car, she was probably going to jail. Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that. Thank you for letting me know, Patriotic. She was 21 years old. She was the mother of 2 children, and she was 6 months pregnant with her third. She did not have custody of those 2 children. Those 2 children were with her grandmother. Her grandmother is currently suing Connor, Kroger's, and Blendon Township for the death of Takaya. That money has to come from somewhere. I do not believe that the Kroger's lawsuit will be successful. I don't think that the Blendon Township lawsuit will be successful. I am not I cannot say this for certain because I am not a lawyer, but if any of these 3 were to be successful, it would be the one against him directly. And the Kroger employee. So here's another interesting tidbit. I hear these people in Massachusetts talking about witness intimidation. grow the fuck up. We have witnesses in this case whose lives have been threatened to the point that they have refused to testify. They are scared to death of retribution. That is not supposed to happen. That is never okay. I don't care what side you're on. That is never okay. That is witness intimidation. To the point that in court documents, like in her docket, in the docket for this case, she is referred to as Jane Doe. But the family believes, I don't want to speak on behalf of the family. It is believed that said Kroger employee had no business running out of the store and informing the police officers that a woman had just stolen several bottles of liquor. It is believed that had she have not done that, Takaya would be alive today. I feel like we're living in the upside down. Every day that I've covered this case, there have been these moments where I'm just like, what are we doing here? I know for a fact this has cost no less than $500,000 to put on this trial. The city of Columbus had to bring in special prosecutors to prosecute this trial from Cincinnati. The prosecution's list of potential witnesses were 70 people. 70. They called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I believe that is the correct number. Stream Mama says, unfortunately, I think that's the normal mentality for people in that age group to think that laws don't apply to them. I mean, it just comes down to the fact that there was nothing else that could have been done in that situation. There was 0.47 seconds to react, according to the biomechanical engineer. If you guys are watching because you followed me during the Karen Reed trial, it's kind of like the the guys hired by the Department of Justice, Dr. Wolf. And there unequivocally was not enough time. He unfortunately had to utilize his professional training and save his own life. And I felt like it was important for me to at least share the facts thus far. So if you are interested in tuning into the rest of this trial, I am live streaming it every single day, and the defense has just started. They crossed, or they did their first, they had their first witness on Friday, rather. And there is one more prosecution witness that couldn't testify last week. That's my understanding. So I believe it's either Monday or Tuesday that this person is expected to testify. And I don't know how many people the defense is going to call it. And to be honest, as of Friday, I don't think the defense knew either, because I would have known. Let me go through the other notes. The jurors are not allowed to take notes. This is a 2.5 week to 3 week trial. The jurors are not allowed to take notes. What? Like, I can say, I don't want to. I will say this tomorrow. What I was going to say, because I haven't said it on a live stream yet. I'll say it tomorrow. You know what? That's a really great question. And I am not certain. Every trial that I feel like I have watched, I feel like they were allowed to take notes. Now, they're not allowed to take notes home with them. And there's a whole bunch of rules regarding that. But what? Yes, I do know this. That is true. So the jurors will have a laptop in the room that is free of the internet, that is free of any apps, except for an app that can be used to watch the video. That is what they are going to be given when they go to deliberate this case. A clean laptop. And that is, I feel like, a good high level, like not too in the weeds, detailed overview to kind of catch you up if you are interested in watching. as I said, I will not be streaming to X. I will only be streaming to YouTube. So my YouTube channel stated right here, it is Criminally Confident. You can find me on there, and I will figure out the answer to your question, Huskies, because that's an excellent question. Let me write it down. All right. So Stream Mama said that she wrote that the judge made this decision based on the belief that it would be a distraction. What I want to know is what the precedent is in these type of cases in Franklin County for this judge for these highly charged types of trials. I want to know if this is normal in those areas. But thank you. The trial is supposed to begin at 9 a.m. I'm always live beginning at 9 a.m. He is never on time. Judge Young, if you are watching, sir, please. Apparently the jurors are always on time. So anyways, I would love to have you join us over on YouTube tomorrow. I know that his support system would really appreciate the support, the prayers, sending that family as much positive and supportive vibes as you can possibly send. Because they're really going through it right now. So I also, prayers to Takaya's family. I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine. Let's not talk about the headphones. The headphones are a very touchy topic. Okay, guys. I need new headphones. That's why the comment was made. And I intend on using dono money on YouTube to buy new headphones. If you are thinking about buying Beats headphones to do podcasts or whatever YouTube tomfoolery stuff you want to do, don't. 0 out of 10. They're great for like listening to things sporadically, but not for wearing for multiple hours at a time. I feel like I am abusing my ears. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for commenting. It really does help the algorithm. If you could please like the video, that would be tremendous. If you don't subscribe to my channel, Criminally Confident on YouTube, I would love to have you over there. Things have been growing quite a bit recently, so it would be great to continue this journey with you guys along with me. And I'll have to talk to you about that, your headphones. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. Make sure to send this to anyone that you can think of that might want to watch or have an interest. And yeah, tomorrow, 9 a.m. on YouTube. I'll be there. I'll see you guys in the morning. Thanks.